Hi guys, this is Bill from Spencer1984.com with another update to the Fall Guy GMC pickup. And I'm going to be starting off this week with a mod that seems like it's going to be really difficult, but it's actually not that bad. So what we need to do is we need to modify the chassis from the short wheelbase to the long wheelbase. And first thing we got to do is we need to make a cut in it. Now, if you look at the mounts, we want to make sure that we keep the spring mounts exactly where they are. And we want to make our cut just ahead of that. So, I'm going to take my little razor saw, make a slice, and now I've got myself a two-part frame. Now, the closer to square that these cuts can be made, the better, but exactly where they are, front to back, isn't really so critical. I'd actually like to stagger the cuts a little bit more, but there's not really a whole lot of space between the back of the cab and that front spring mount. So now we just got to figure out the difference between the two wheelbases. And for that, I'm going to bring in the new box. And you can see I've started work on this. I've made the vertical cut for the secret compartment. The bottom cut is going to be hidden by the side trim, so I'm not going to bother with that. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to compare it to the old box. And I'm just going to line it up with the wheel wells, because I need that rear axle centered in there. And I'm just going to measure the difference between the two. So line that up. Looks like about 17 millimeters. And I will double check this before I make any cuts, but that looks pretty good. So now I need to take this and measure the frame rails. And this looks like it's going to be about 2 millimeters by about 8 millimeter. Alright, so with those dimensions in mind, I'm going to take some 2 millimeter thick plastic and I'm going to cut myself a pair of 17 by 8 rectangles. Now I could use these as is, but I want to give them a little reinforcement, so I've got them labeled left and right with the arrows pointing to the front of the truck, and this line is going to be where I put my pins. See, what I've done is I've drilled a little tiny hole right in line with that line that I drew, and then I'm going to take some of this plastic rod, which is the same size as the holes that I've got, and just pop it in to verify, and there's my little keyed frame extension. And now to make sure everything lines up, I actually continued the line from my extension to the side of the frame rail and drilled a hole in that as well. So now I've got my extensions cut, I've got everything drilled out. Now it's just time to glue everything together. And here's what it looks like with the extensions in place. And yeah, it's not the prettiest right now. I do need to go back, do my sanding, might have to do a little bit of spot filling here and there. But it's glued together with liquid cement, it's got the pins, and it's solid. We're not getting any flex, we're not getting any bowing. I'm calling this good. So, on to the other things I've been working on. First up is the cab. And I know it's a little ugly now, but there is a method to the madness. So, first thing I did is went through and rescribed the door lines all the way around because they were really shallow in a few spots. And then I went and added some Tamiya panel liner to both doors and the cowl as well. Just, already had it there. So once I'm sure it's all set, I'm going to go through, give this the full wet sanding, wash it, and get it ready for paint. I also filled in the groove around the sunroof with some epoxy. Generally, I've had pretty good results with that preventing the ghosting. It's not perfect, but yeah, we'll give it a shot. Like I said, usually it works out pretty well. Also, as you kind of saw earlier, started work on the box. Got those lines done with panel liner now. Also did the lines at the top of the tailgate. Same thing as with the cab. Once this is fully dry, I'll give it a light wet sanding, smooth off any errors, and then give it a washing right before paint. For the hood, I did the same thing as I did with the sunroof, filled in all of those grooves with epoxy, And also, as with the cab, let this set, wet sand the outside, get it washed, get it ready for paint. And next up, got some work done on the engine. And I know this is the wrong color. Early 80s, GM was already using corporate blue, and then they switched over to black in the mid 80s. But this is a custom truck, so I'm calling it a old school orange engine, aluminum heads, aluminum intake, and it does have the chrome dress up valve covers on it. It cleaned up pretty well. No seam at all on the transmission pan, so I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. And I always did like these MPC engines with separate everything. Water pump, fuel pump, oil filter, all that. They were just kind of neat. And so I think that pretty much does it for this week. Lot of preparation work, fair bit of cleanup work, modifying that chassis, but it's coming together. I'm pretty happy with the progress so far. So for the next steps, I'm going to get the frame extensions sanded smooth, get the frame painted. I'm going to get the cab and the box cleaned up and get the first coat of paint on those. I'll get the engine all wrapped up, including the drivetrain and axles, and probably start in on the interior. So I will have another update on all that next week. You can check back then, and thanks for watching.